Hey, friends, thanks for joining. Let's begin standing. Now, in a moment here, in a couple moments, I guess, really, we'll work on that Tai Chi warrior that I like to do. A lot of you have done this hundreds of times, so I'm going to give a little bit less instruction than normal when we start to do those Tai Chi warriors, but we are going to do the balancing part. So, one little quick note when we get to that point, just so we can keep the flow going. The idea here is, of course, when you're here, you're kind of blocking if someone's trying to hit you. When you hear it kind of giving a push. Now, when I come back this time for the balancing part, imagine again someone's trying to strike you and you're going to block. So this knee is bent. This knee that the foot is on, the weight is on this foot. It's bent now, but when I pull this foot up and up to kind of block, then once this foot's off the floor, then I'm going to straighten and stand really tall. So I end up here with this leg really straight. This foot obviously off the floor, like I'm kind of blocking a kick or something. Then when I transition back to the floor with this foot, I'll make it soft as possible, of course. So now I'm going to bend this knee, which will require leg strength, but it's also going to build a lot of leg strength. So I'm going to bend this knee as I softly bring this foot back to the floor. Because if I didn't, I would kind of just like, right. So I want to make it smooth as possible when I do this kind of shifting and balancing movement. Hope that makes sense. If this is new to you, then you can look at one of I have a tutorial on the Tai Chi Warrior where it gives more explanation of the basics of it. Okay. All right. Let's start with your feet about shoulder width or so. Bring your palms together. Close your eyes. Just begin to draw your awareness inward so you really notice how it feels to be in your body today at this time. Make sure you're grounding equally through both feet. And then begin to notice your breath. Start to feel your body breathe. All right, now bend your knees a little bit. Have a little bit of a bend in your knees. Now, as you bend your knees a little bit, your quadriceps, the fronts of your thighs, they'll turn on, they'll activate. The muscles will engage a bit. When you do that, it makes it a little bit easier to relax your lower back. So think about it as you bend your knees a little bit, releasing your tailbone down. So you feel your thighs tighten up, but hopefully you feel your lower back loosen up a little bit. Okay, now let's begin with Ujjayi Pranayama by lightly engaging your throat, like you're narrowing a valve, which will help you to lengthen the breath. Maybe 5 seconds for the exhale and 5 seconds for the inhale, or something close to that. Breathing through your nose, but hearing the breath now move in and out of your throat like it's your mantra. As you exhale, engage your lower abdomen, lift your pelvic floor. And then when you inhale, see if you can get the bottom part of your rib cage to expand. All right, now as you inhale, bring your arms out like a T so you feel your chest and rib cage expanding, and also straighten your knees, lift your chin a little bit so really your whole body feels very expansive here. And then as you exhale, slowly bring your palms together, lower your chin, and bend your knees a little bit again. Now, this inhale, press your palms toward the ceiling, look up and stand really tall. Now, as you exhale, press your palms toward the floor, look down and bend your knees. Finally, inhale, sweep your arms up, stand tall. And exhale back to the starting position. Palms together, knees a little bit bent, slightly lower your chin. And we'll start that sequence again. Inhale, arms like a T, stand really tall, lift your chin a little bit. As you exhale, slowly bring your palms together, bend your knees, lower your chin. Now inhale as you press your palms to the ceiling, look up. Exhale as you press your palms to the floor, look down, bend your knees. Inhale, sweep your arms up, stand tall. Exhale, palms together, knees a little bit bent, slightly lower your chin. I'm going to talk you through that sequence one more time. Inhale here. Exhale here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, let's go through that sequence a couple more times on your own, at your own pace. Use the movements of your body to stretch the breath. Okay, once you're back in that starting position, let's stop there again. Just take a moment to practice being still. All right, now let's begin with the Tai Chi warrior. So shift more weight onto your left foot and bend your left knee, and then turn your right toes out. Feet still about shoulder width or so. Now you can do a little test here. You're probably in the right, you're probably the right distance between your feet. If you can lift your right foot off the floor for a moment and just balance on this left foot, that's usually pretty good measurement. Okay, then keep both feet down. And like we did when we were standing with our feet parallel, as you bend this knee, see if you can release your tailbone down so you feel this thigh, your left thigh, tighten up, but maybe you feel your lower back relax. Okay, then finally, right hand up over your right foot, left hand under your heart. Take a few breaths here. At this point, you should really feel this left thigh working. I know I do. Okay, now just shift weight onto your right foot and bend your right knee. You might need to readjust that back foot a little bit. That's fine if you do, but there should be a very little weight on that back foot. And now turn your shoulder, pull this right hand back and push with your left hand, like you're pushing open a heavy door. Take a few breaths here. Okay, now before we do that balancing on one foot business, we're just going to take a minute to shift weight back and forth. So now as you inhale, shift weight onto your left foot and bend your left knee. Block with your right hand. Exhale, shift weight onto your right foot, bend your right knee and push with your left. Inhale here and exhale here at your own pace. Just for another 45 seconds or so. And like I kind of mentioned earlier, you want the transition, the shifting weight from one foot to the other to be nice and smooth. Slow and smooth is the way to go. All right, let's change sides. Now turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out, bend your right knee, take weight on your right foot. Maybe no weight or very little weight on that left foot over there. Release your tailbone down. You'll feel your right thigh tighten. Hopefully you feel your lower back relax as a result. Now your left hand is up doing the blocking, right hand is giving the offering. Take a few breaths. All right, now shift weight onto your left foot and bend your left knee. Turn your shoulders like you're pushing with your right hand. All right, back and forth. Inhale, shift weight onto your back foot. Exhale, shift weight onto your front foot. Inhale and exhale, shifting weight from one foot to the other. All right, then let's come back to the center with feet parallel. Take a few breaths here again. All right, now we'll add that balancing on one foot part. So start with your weight on your left foot, bend your left knee. Take a breath or two here. Release your tailbone down again. Try to relax your low back. Okay, now let's go right into the balance from here. So when you're ready, just slide your right foot back, lift your right foot off the floor if you can. And then once your right foot's off the floor, straighten your other leg. So you balance standing really tall. Now let your bottom knee bend a little bit again so you can transition to both feet on the floor softly, smoothly, and then shift your weight like you're doing the pushing part. Okay, when you're ready, pull back, balance on one foot, and then softly bring both feet to the floor again, then shift your weight onto the other foot. Yeah, keep going. This obviously improves your balance even more than just shifting your weight. The first variation of the Tai Chi Warrior is great for balance, but this is obviously going to be a little bit better, a little bit harder, but we'll build more stable balance. All right, now let's change sides. Let's shift weight onto your right foot. Find your balance here first. Then when you're ready, balance on one foot. Stand real tall. Softly bring both feet to the floor again and do the pushing part as you shift your weight. Pull back, balance on one foot. And then softly bring both feet to the floor and shift weight to the other foot as you do the push. Good. Keep going. Okay. Once feels like you've gone to both sides an equal number of times, just come back to the center. Both feet on the floor. Take a moment to adjust. Okay, now still with your feet relatively wide, maybe up close to the width of your mat. Just begin to lean forward. Let your knees bend a little bit. So you can bring your hands to the floor.
Let your knees bend as much as they need to so you can bring your hands to the floor. Relax your neck, allow the weight of your head to decompress your spine. And also smooth out your breath here if necessary. Okay, now from here, we're going to work on that fingertips and toe squat. So now go ahead and bend your knees. Have your arms between your knees. And as your knees bend, at some point, let your heels lift off the floor and just lift up to your fingertips. So you're on your fingertips and your toes, arms between your knees. And then if you can, you even look up and try to extend your spine so you lengthen the area between your sternum and navel. Okay, now the next time you exhale, press your heels down and your hips up at the same time. And then repeat as you inhale, come into that squat on your fingertips and toes. And then as you exhale, press your heels down. Also press your palms down, but your hips up. Now to do that, you're gonna feel your quadriceps, the fronts of your thighs, working again. It should be good for strengthening your quadriceps, stretching your hamstrings at the same time. So let's keep going. Inhale here, and then exhale here. Maybe 5 or 6 more times. All right. Now, go ahead and step your left foot back into a lunge. Once you're in the lunge, you start to make some movements with your hips. Check out this first deeper lunge and see how it feels. Okay, let's step back to down dog. Once you're in dog pose, pedal your feet back and forth a little bit. Maybe shift hips a little side to side. All right, then let's rock forward to plank pose. Just take a few breaths here in plank. Tighten your thighs, tighten your glutes, tighten your abdomen. See if you can spread your shoulders, shoulder blades, sorry. Push the floor away. Okay, now with control, slowly lower to the floor. And once you're down, stretch your arms forward into the full prostration. Really focus on filling your torso with breath here. And now slide your elbows directly under your shoulders for Sphinx pose and see if you can create a little more length in your waist. Once you've created a little length, then bend your knees and make some circles so you rotate your thighs. Both directions. Okay, feet back to the floor. Slide your hands under your shoulders. Let's curl into upward facing dog. And then back into downward facing dog. All right, let's lunge to the second side. So now step your left foot forward. And like the first time, make some movements with your hips. Check out this side, see how it feels. All right, step your right foot forward. Feet not too close though, so let's say at least hip width. And then let's come into that toes, tiptoes, fingertip squat. So bend your knees, arms between your legs, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale as you stand up, arms overhead. And then exhale, arms down. Okay, let's start again. Inhale as you reach up. And then exhale as you fold forward. Inhale to that squat. Then this exhale, either step or if you like, hop back and lower all the way to the floor. Now, once you're down, stretch your arms forward, take a full breath in. Exhale as you slide your hands under your shoulders. And then inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale back into downward facing dog. You take a breath here. And as you exhale, bend your knees and look forward like you're the frog getting ready to leap. Very end of exhale, either step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale to that squat on your toes and fingertips. Exhale as you fold forward. Inhale, stand up, arms overhead. Keep inhaling until your palms touch. And then exhale, arms down. Let's do one more of those together. Inhale as you reach up. Exhale as you fold forward. Inhale to that squat. Exhale, either step or hop back and lower to the floor. And once you're down, stretch your arms forward. Take a full breath in. Slide your hands under your shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. Take a breath in, down dog. And then bend your knees, look forward, step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, stand up, arms overhead. And then exhale, arms down. Okay, let's try two more of those on your own, at your own pace. And then let's all meet in this downward facing dog. Let's stay in down dog. As always, if down dog's not a great resting pose for you, then you can do whatever resting pose you want. Just take a moment here and something like this. Practice being still again. Smooth out your breath if necessary. Okay. Step your right foot forward and bring your left knee down. And then this time, lift your torso up. Let's go into like this like kind of low lunge situation, variation of like Anjaneyasana. And then for now, just keep your hand or your hands on your right thigh. Start with your right knee over your ankle. But when you're ready here, just exhale and sink deeper so your right knee goes over your toes. More your little toes than your big toe, though. And then come back up so your knees over your ankle, knee over toes. Try that a few more times. So you begin to, you know, be aware, make some awareness of your ankle mobility, as well as getting something, some kind of lengthening in the front of your left hip into a deeper lunge and kind of out of a deeper lunge. Okay, now, if you want to just focus on flexibility, continue with this one. If you want to also incorporate elements of strength and balance, and then lift off your left knee, then come back down so your right knee is over your toes, then lift up and come back down. Maybe 5 or 6 more times with either one of those variations. All right, great. Let's go ahead and step back into plank and then lower to the floor with control. Stretch your arms forward, take a full breath in, hands back under your shoulders. Inhale the up dog and exhale back to down dog. And let's just change sides. So now left foot forward, right knee down. Bring your hands to your left thigh. Start with your left knee over your ankle and sink deeper so your left knee goes over your little toes.
Over your ankle and toes. Check out this side, see how it feels. Okay, continue with this one. If you just want to focus on flexibility, if you're also thinking about strength and balance, lift all the way up, all the way back down, and then all the way up again. And once it feels like you've gone to both sides an equal number of times, then take a breath and plank, lower to the floor with control. And just transition back to down dog at your own pace. And then either step or hop to the front of your mat. Take a breath in the squat, and then fold forward. Inhale, stand up, arms overhead, and then arms down. Okay, good. Now open your feet wide, almost as wide as you can. Let's do the wide-footed version of chakra, the revolving disc. So for this one, you might want to turn your toes out a little bit, and I suggest feeling free. I suggest basically to bend your knees as you move, especially when you lean forward. Let your knees bend a little bit. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Inhale here. Well, opening your chest and rib cage, like your arms are a clamshell, opening wide. Now, as you exhale, lean to one side and then lean forward. Lean to the other side, then up again. Open your chest and rib cage. Exhale and inhale. Maybe three more times. Now reverse it and go the other direction. All right. Now, from here, go ahead. Once you've gone to both sides an equal number of times, fold forward. And for today, slide your hands down to hold your ankles. But not your feet, and don't have your hands on the floor. Have your have your hands just holding just above, kind of like your that big ankle bone. And then once you're holding your ankles, just begin to move a little bit side to side. So bend one knee, back to the center, and bend the other knee. So again, you're all of your weight's on your feet. And by the way, you might need to readjust your feet a little bit. That's fine. And you're just holding your ankles with your hands. So all of your body weight's on your feet. And as you continue to warm up your hips and maybe you'll sink a little bit deeper, you might need to readjust your feet again. That's fine if you do. Mhm. Okay. Once you've gone to both sides, an equal number of times, fold forward. And now bring your hands to the floor. You might maybe fold a little bit deeper this time. Okay, then let's just pivot to face the front of your mat and come into plank pose. Again, this time in plank, though, cross your ankles and squeeze your thighs together. Squeeze your thighs. Like earlier, tighten your glutes, tighten the bread basket. Push the floor away so you spread your shoulder blades. Change the cross of your ankles. Keep squeezing. Keep breathing. Okay. Uncross your ankles. Lower to the floor. And your choice.
Either crocodile or child's pose, whatever feels better for you, crocodile or the pose of a child. Take a moment to relax. Allow everything to slow down. Okay, now if you are in child's pose, let's transition into this crocodile version and we'll do a frog kind of crocodile combo. Bring your left knee out to the side so your left knee is in a 90-degree angle and your left toes are pointing out to the left. So your leg is here, kind of like a half frog. Then once you're here, lift your left foot and ankle off the floor 5 or 6 times. Keep your knee down, but just lift your ankle and foot so your thigh internally rotates. As you do these, also do your best to keep your hips low. So try not to lift your hips up too much. Try to keep your hips as low as possible. And then ask your left foot and ankle to hover off the floor. Okay, good. And I'll change that. Slide your right knee out to the side so it's in a 90-degree angle. Try to keep your hips nice and low. And then when you're ready, lift your right foot and ankle up and down. And then ask it to hover. Okay, bring it down. Now let's do this, I guess, fuller version of frog. We're gonna do that with both knees. So to start, you'll probably have to lift into your elbows, and you might want to readjust where you are on your mat. So you've got extra padding on your mat. But from here, now point your toes out on both legs. I'll give you this view, and then as you take weight on your forearms, you might need to kind of press down into your forearms a bit, so you can lift your knee up and kind of slide it out a little further. Hope that makes sense. So you're just kind of finding your way into this kind of frog version with your toes pointing away from each other on each foot. Okay, then once you're there, it usually feels pretty good, good being a relative term, to do a little movement from here. So it might, if at some point, I think you'll find a good spot. So you might need to shift your torso forward, shift it back, sometimes tilting your tailbone down, lifting your tailbone up like a cat-cow type movement. Feels good. So do some experimentation here. So it doesn't just feel like you're trying to pull your legs apart. You're getting something out of being in this position in multiple parts of your body. Like I said, you might need to do a little cat cow and or shift hips forward and backward. So find a relatively good spot. And if you do find that good spot, hang out there and breathe. All right, that was fun. Now bring your knees closer in, and let's just return to Sphinx pose next with your legs together. Ooh. Okay, now let's have some options. Feel free to stay in the regular Sphinx or repeat the Sphinx wagging its tail, or bow pose where you reach back and hold your feet, then use the strength of your legs to lift up. Any one of those three are good. All right, then relax. So when you're ready here, push into child's pose. Knees like shoulder width, toes together, big toe together. Sit towards your heels, forehead toward the floor, then breathe into your back like you're breathing into the area behind your heart. All right, now let's do something upside down. I would suggest headstand, handstand, forearm stand, dolphin. Any one of those things are good. Where you're upside down-ish on your hands or forearms or head if you're comfortable with headstand. Something upside down-ish for the next minute or so. And by the way, I mentioned earlier our tutorials. There's also tutorials, like a 5 minute tutorial, so on headstand and shoulder stand in that section. So if you need more instruction, if you want more instruction, check those out in the tutorial section of the app. And begin to slowly lower back to the floor. End up in child's pose again. Now from here, let's just transition onto our backs. Let's come out to your back. We're gonna do a little bridging next. All right, we did this last week, maybe a couple times actually. Let's do the dynamic bridge. So go up and down 5 or 6 times. But for today, do the opposite breathing. So when you exhale, push your hips up. When you inhale, bring them back down. And don't worry about your arms for now. Just keep your arms down by your sides. But as you exhale, push your hips up, engage your glutes, and then slowly lower back down when you inhale for today. Then keep your hips up. Now, from here, if you want a little more challenge, let's work on the marching bridges. If you do this marching bridges, though, you might want to bring your feet closer toward each other. And just make sure when you lift one foot off the floor, you don't let your hips drop. Okay, now let's do a little side bridging. So keep both feet down, but as you exhale, reach to one side, like kind of have a diagonal stretch. Keep your feet really grounded and end up on the opposite arm, completely off your back. And then return to the regular bridge and change sides. So go side to side now. Make sure you keep both feet really grounded the whole time, like your feet are in a standing pose. And once you've gone to both sides an equal number of times, then lower down. Once your hips are down, your choice. If it feels good to keep your knees pointing up, that's great. Knees falling out to the sides, that's fine too. Legs straight, wherever. Leg variation that feels best for you at this point. All right, now let's just go into a nice, just static windshield or passive windshield wiper. So Just drop both of your knees to your left. And then from there, if it feels good, bring your left ankle on your right thigh. So your right thigh has got a deep internal rotation. If that last part hurts, of course, skip that last part. You might need to readjust a little bit, but check out this kind of passive windshield wipers, like your windshield wipers on your car turned off. Get some more breaths here, and then change sides. Okay, pull your knees into your chest. Now, let's repeat bridge pose, or if it feels good, from bridge in the upward bow. A couple of things, if you're, because we don't do this very often, I don't do this very often, but if you are going into upward bow, the things that help me a lot are I keep my heels off the floor, so on like the ball of each foot. That gives me a little bit more lift, I guess. Not for everyone, but it's helpful for me to have my heels off the floor. It's also helpful for me to have my hands wider than my shoulders. So I think it's pretty common for people to have their hands too close together when they try this one. If you're going in an upward bow, hands wider is fine. In fact, a lot of times it's better for people. So feel free to do that. If staying in bridge feels better for you, that's okay too. So either bridge or upward bow. After a few breaths, lower back down, take a rest. And feel free to give it another shot if you like. If you don't like, stay where you are. That's good too. If you're still up, then go ahead and lie onto your back or bring your hips to the floor. And then here's begin to make some knee circles. Now you can use your hands on your knees. You can not use your hands either way, but make some circles with your knees. So you massage your low back. And if you're not using your hands, you're engaging your core a little bit. Both directions. Let's do some dead bugs next. Now, keep your feet off the floor, knees bent, and also press your palms toward the ceiling. Now, from here, remember, engage your abdomen, tighten your abdomen so you can press your low back into the floor. Keep resisting your low back into the floor, but also now resist your left hand and your right thigh into each other. Don't grab your knee. Press your hand into your thigh, but press your thigh back into your hand so you feel more core engagement. Finally, now reach with your right arm and your left leg, but don't touch the floor. Keep pressing your low back down. Take a few more breaths here. Oh boy. And then come back to the starting position, the dead bug position, and change side. But first, again, press your low back into the floor. Now, press your right hand into your left thigh and vice versa. And then finally, reach with your left arm and your right leg. Keep pressing your low back down. Okay. Inhale back to the starting position. Exhale to the first side. Press your low back down. Inhale to the starting position. Exhale to the second side. Keep going. Another 60 seconds.
All right, once you go to both sides, then relax. Now, just do whichever supine twist you enjoy. Whichever twist on your back that feels good. And change sides. Okay, pull your knees in, then take a minute to do whatever it feels like you need to do to make yourself super comfortable. Now let's get really comfortable. And once you have settled in, really allow the floor to take your body weight. Allow your upper and lower rows of teeth to separate and feel your tongue widen inside your mouth. Soften your eyes, even release your breath. So you're not controlling it or shaping it, not really practicing pranayama right now, but continue with your pratyahara so you're still drawing your awareness inward. Even practice a little dharana, which means to make your mind focused and one pointed by observing your navel rise and fall on each breath. Just watch your navel ride on each breath to help integrate body and mind.
Now shift your awareness so you begin to notice the breath rising and falling through both nostrils. Let's become really aware of the sensation the breath is creating when it's rising and falling through both nostrils. And also notice if the flow of your breath is stronger through your left or right side. So if your left or your right nostril is more open. Once you've noticed which nostril is more open, draw your knees into your chest and roll to that side. Then stay on that side, using your bottom arm as a pillow to allow the nostril flow to balance out. And begin to work your way up to seated. Come into any comfortable seated posture. And we'll sit for maybe 7 minutes or so. So if you think you might need something to elevate your hips or any kind of support, take care of that. You can even sit in a chair if you want, but do come into some comfortable seated posture where it won't take any effort to be there for about 7 minutes. All right, then close your eyes, sit up nice and tall, and practice Jiva Mudra by bringing the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Then slide it forward so the tip of your tongue touches the gum line where the roof of your mouth and your front teeth meet. And let's also practice Pranashuddhi. So now, without controlling your breath, the next time you happen to inhale, just notice the breath moving up your right nostril. The next time you happen to exhale, notice the breath moving down your left nostril. And then reverse it. As you inhale, feel the breath ascending through your left nostril. And as you exhale, feel the breath descending down your right. Then continue doing that at your own pace. But remember, you're not trying to shape or control your breath. You're simply observing the sensation the breath creates when it moves through one nostril and you keep alternating sides. And if your mind begins to wander, that's okay. But if you notice it wandering, bring it back to watching the flow of the breath rise and fall through one nostril at a time.
All right, then bring your palms together back to Anjali Mudra. Take one last moment to enjoy the peace you've created through the practice. To rub your palms together, create a little heat in your hands. Once you've built some heat, rest your hands over your eyes. Feel it moving in, recharging your senses. Take one last slow, smooth breath in here. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed class. Have a fantastic day. Don't forget, if you're enjoying these classes, tell your friends. If you don't enjoy these classes, don't tell your friends. Let me know if you want more information on my retreat in Portugal this fall. Have a great day and hope to see you again soon.